happy, almost retrograde.
Retrograde shadow.
Yes. And so this is something new for us. Not completely new because we've done similar things in the past. We started with Carradin's Grove, and we're kind of circling back to our roots of how we got started working together. And now we bring to you the Rebel Mystic. And this is where we're going to talk about making witchcraft and using herbs, and I can imagine that we're even going to talk about foraging and astrology, all that fun stuff that we all adore. We're going to make it a way of life. I'm Leandra Witchwood, and that is my goal, to make witchcraft a way of life. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. I'm not going to do it for you.
Damn.
I know.
She's going to make it easy.
You know.
I mean, Erin, you made it easy through the day for me, so anyway. My name is Stacy Tolbert. I am owner of Wild Moon & Co. and part of Symmetry Holistic Collective.
And I'm Erin Schrader, the Rebel Herbalist, and yeah, I belong here too.
Yes, she does. We all belong here.
That's right.
So, I want to start off our time together. This is going to be really short. It's not going to be more than, half hour or so, because we all have stuff to do, and we try and get you the nuggets of information out quickly. The nugs. So I do want to start our time together by lighting a candle. This is kind of our tradition. And as I light this candle, I invite the helpful spirits, the spirits that guide us, the spirits that will impart upon us their wisdom and giving us some insight, especially as we enter some of this interesting astro weather we've got coming up. So if you have a candle at home, you're welcome to join us in lighting the candle with each week as we come together. So our core topic today is astro weather. We have a lot coming up. Ooh, a lot of stuff that's going to be a little icky, but also very transformative. And so starting with it is May 10th. We hit Mercury retrograde. So we're in the shadow right now, as Erin alluded to. And this is a time where we're going to hit some interesting stuff.
It's already started.
It's already started. A lot of us are feeling it. We're having those voices in our head pop up. We're having maybe past relationships pop up that we tried to get rid of. So a lot of stuff's going to happen. This is going to be a time to carefully weigh your plans, your goals, really reflect on those pros and cons. Really reflect on those decisions you need to make, and make sure that you're not just snap judgments. You do want to do a lot that comes into your power. Shadow aspect wise, your shadow's going to get loud if it's not already, and that can be a problem for a lot of us, because our shadow can be that blockage that holds us back instead of that superpower that helps launch us forward. And you want to double and triple check anything and everything that you do, especially if it comes to decision making. And of course, this time of year, Mercury retrograde. I know I'm talking backwards.
You're going retrograde.
Yeah, I'm going retrograde subconsciously. Now I lost my train of thought. Oopsie. That's what we do here. We're just on the ball here, off the ball. So, oh my god! I hope you guys are laughing as much as we are here. So your shadow is going to get loud, and your shadow can be very shaming. It can bring up those things that you regret. And it's going to play that on you, because its goal is to keep you safe. And I can't go into a whole lot of it right now, but I do in my course. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And Stacy's going to give us some crystal recommendations for this time of year. Erin's got some recommendations. I have some recommendations. So stick in there after we talk about the logistics of this time. So the messages you're getting right now might be disparaging. They might be the ones that are resistant, and you're going to hear a lot of resistances. You're going to feel a lot of resistances. that's where you want to key in. That's where you want to really sit down and reflect. Where are you feeling resistance? Where are you absolutely, without a doubt, just, I'm not doing that. I am not entertaining that. I am absolutely not going to change because this is me and this is how I am. That's the shadow speaking. That's also the ego speaking. So there's a lot of dynamic there. But that's also the problem that this time of year is going to really demand you to address. Not only are we hitting, we're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, but we are going to also, we're in eclipse season, and we're going to hit Jupiter entering Aries. So Aries, as most of us know, is warlike. It is very volatile. Can you guys talk a little bit more about that? I'm not good at the whole Astro thing. Like, give me the shadow work. I'll tell you all about that.
Yeah, so we just came out of Aries season. That's and I'm looking at the ram art.
I know.
In front of me right now. We have this really beautiful painting of a ram's head. So yeah, Aries is the energy that bursts the seed forward, you know, that like conquering, conquesting, cardinal, heralding the season of growth. And Jupiter is this like one of the main, or maybe even the main benefic planet in our solar system. It's expansive, it's abundant, it's prosperous, it's lucky. So there's this like luck and manifestation pairing up with this energy of bursting forth. So think of like manifesting to 1,000 degrees, like, and we're already having all of this Jupiter energy this year with its conjunction with Neptune, and it's at its home in Pisces, and so Jupiter is like on the forefront already, and so now we have it moving into Aries and bringing this new like explosive energy. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that from you? No?
Not really.
Just wanted to invite you in.
Yes, I know. She's our pretty centerpiece.
Yes. She's beautiful. Oh.
We love her. So when we think of those types of energies together, I think of the Fool. And it's very easy to become foolish when we're trying to burst forward and prosper and prosper and prosper.
Without thinking about the pros and cons.
Right. And that's where you really want to reflect. You really want to make sure that you're taking time to sit down with your journal, sit down with some questions that can help you be more aware of your motivations, the true motivations, not just, oh, I want to be prosperous because I need to pay my bills. What's the underlining motivation? There's something else there. There always is. So you can ask yourself, like, what are you doing right now that is denying your higher self from you? What are you doing to separate yourself from your higher self? What messages is your higher self trying to convey that you are absolutely putting the blockage up? You're not willing to hear it. Nope, not going to do it. And another one is, you know, how can you honor your higher self once you get through that when you find that blockage? How do you honor your higher self so that your higher self can communicate with you? And you can call it your higher self, source, God, divine self, however you label it or identify it. And once you're able to kind of break down those walls a little bit and hear what your higher self is trying to tell you, then what do you do with that information? You know, where are you going to go? What changes do you need to make in your life? What additions do you need? What do you need to subtract? And those are really critical elements to consider, especially this time of year, because the shadow, like I said, is going to get loud. It's going to be boisterous. And that's why it's important to really go deep and set that sacred time for yourself where you can listen to yourself, listen to your shadow, and take time to listen so that you're not shaming yourself. This is not a time for self-deprivation. It's not a time to say, I am the fool and this is always how I'm going to be. It's a choice. Being foolish is a choice. And everything we do is a choice. Not doing anything is a choice. everything we do is a choice. So we have a choice every single day to do better or not do better. And that's up to us. So I alluded a little bit that we offer classes, and we have an entire platform that's full of classes that we address a lot of this stuff. We help you through this stuff. We also have an entire private community, and it's absolutely private, where we help you through this. And so one of my offerings is Claiming the Shadow, and that's specifically shadow work and as a witch. So it takes on the esoteric elements of shadow work, not just the Jungian. I am trained in both shamanic and Jungian, but I find I get far more benefit from the esoteric side of it, the shamanic, the journeying, the deep soul exploration aspect of it. You want to talk a little bit about your classes and what you guys do?
Sure. All right. So I offer an Intro to Crystals course at the moment, and I'm also working on a pendulums class. And then I also offer our community for a monthly crystal subscription box, where you get curated boxes monthly, and I do lives about the stuff that's in it. And I also have a free community on there as well, just to go hop in and talk about your crystals if you have any questions, or you like to, tell everybody what you do with them. I love that. So you're welcome to join.
My main course in the Criblin's Grove Collective is Into the Fire, and this course is about alchemizing emotion. So whenever we feel a lot of sensation in the body, we don't have to be hijacked by all that sensation and make a decision and act out of that sensation, and then we can't go back, and we can't change what we've done. Instead, we can feel all that sensation and alchemize it with clarity into power, and then all of the fear, anger that we feel is actually just vital force. So that's what Into the Fire course is. There's a community around Into the Fire as well. There's also a course on finding your plant ally, just like you have spirit animals or ancestors. We have plant spirits that will work with us. And there's a course called Getting Started with Herbs, which is just like learning the basic lingo. What is a tincture? What is a decoction? So that you can start to feel empowered on your herbalism journey. And I also offer a contemplative community on Circle in our Criblin's Grove Collective community, where we meet every Thursday night. This part is completely free. We have a contemplative practice together for 30 minutes. And then within the online community, we share poetry and our experiences and contemplation. So I would invite you to join us. It's every Thursday night at 7 o'clock via Zoom. So you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah. So what is our desired outcome of this planetary alignment, this astro weather? For me, it's about developing understanding, not necessarily healing everything right away, because that takes time. I look at it as a spiral. You got to come back to things sometimes in a different perspective to really heal. And that's where, when our shadows start speaking to us and getting really loud during this time of year, just taking a step back and really understand, like, what do I need to understand? What do I need to understand about myself, about the situation, about my past? What do I need to understand about how I perpetuate my misery? Because I think that's going to pop up for a lot of people. It already has. I've had so many people ask me, like, what's going on right now? Why is my brain not shutting off? And why is every mistake or disparaging thing, or why is everything from the past like dredging itself up and keeping me awake at night? So if you're experiencing that, just remember you're not alone. Absolutely not alone, and we're here to support you. Like, that's what our whole goal has always been, is to create community and to support one another through our journey, because we're all trying to reach, I think, the same thing. We're all trying to reach that sense of peace, fulfillment, so we can be happy and healthy and balanced and better humans. Any suggestions you guys have for this time of year? And we'll get into like our actual suggestions, like crystals and that sort of thing.
I mean, talking about relationships, I already had something show up this past weekend about how I show up in a relationship. And it made me realize that the things that I had thought I let go of, I hadn't. So that's what I'm currently working on.
I'm in the last week of a sabbatical I've been on since the beginning of April, where I've not been seeing any clients. And it's been so interesting to me because I've heard from several other plant people that they've been called to sabbatical as well. So it's almost like the image I keep getting in my mind is like before a tsunami hits the shore, the tide goes way, way, way out. And I just feel like we're being called into the deep so that when it's time, we are refreshed and ready to be that wave that comes to tear down systems that need to be torn down.
Right.
To bring nourishment and water and replenishment to the places that have become so dried out and parched in our current way of living. And so I feel in myself that gathering tide. Yeah. Like there's something waiting to emerge. It's very exciting.
The word that I thought of was vitality when you were talking about that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, gathering our vital force.
Oh my gosh, our vital force. And we give so much of that away. We give so much of that vital force away just from everyday life. Demands that are placed on us by family, by bosses, society. So when we have that opportunity to pull ourselves back and honor that, I know it's not always possible, but you can take some time during the day, maybe before everyone wakes up in the morning. We just talked about this morning. Oh my gosh. So,
Who reads that early in the morning?
Stacey made a comment about Erin reads in the morning. She's like, how do you do that in the morning? And you said that it's the only time that's quiet. Yes. And I find myself doing the same thing. That's the only time I could do my rituals in the morning. Because it's quiet in the house, either before my son gets up or after he's gone for school, the house is quiet. I can think, I can do for myself. And I think doing those things and recognizing when you need to do for yourself is incredibly important. And that's how we refill that cup. Yes, definitely. So you want to talk about some crystals?
Sure. So a few crystals that I picked out for the retrograde specifically are amethyst, sodalite, and fluorite. So sodalite will help with communication, it's nurturing. Fluorite is a very transformative energy, which is perfect for this time of year. And amethyst is just overall protective. It's got that real good protective vibe to it. And then for Jupiter and Aries, I picked out agate, moonstone, and tiger's eye. So those are just a few you can work with, but whatever's calling to you, work with it. Don't ignore it.
Yeah. Just because we're making a suggestion doesn't mean that's the be all end all.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely
There's
not.
so many out there. Yeah.
Which
Well, anytime a planet is retrograde, that means it looks like it's going backwards in its orbit. It's not. It's like if you're sitting at a stoplight and the car next to you starts to go, it might feel like you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
That's the same basic premise of what's happening with retrogrades. So the astrological significance is that whatever that planet embodies is happening inside of us instead of out in the world. It's taking that energy deep within. And so for me, an herb that really helps me go within and look deeply at my mind's workings and what's going on for me, especially in my subconscious, is mugwort.
I was just thinking mugwort.
I love that. Yeah, mugwort has this amazing ability to help illuminate my subconscious for me. Whether I drink it as a tea or bathe in it or burn it as an incense, you can also smoke it. Not that I'm recommending that. It is in my smoking blend. You can spray it as a hydrosol. Like there are so many ways to work with these plants, or just meditate with it. You know. But mugwort has this. It's also a womb. It has a womb affinity, which may be why I'm feeling the need for it today. It's in a lot of your teas. Yes. So yeah, if you're looking for a plant that can be a guide for you, especially, let's say your life is popping and you do not have time to sit in meditation, but your dream life is really active. and you wake up and you don't feel rested, but you can't remember what you dreamed, mugwort will help you. It helps you keep those dreams in consciousness. When you cross the threshold and come back from the dreaming, mugwort helps you keep those dreams in your hand when you cross that threshold. So, and one of the best ways is just to burn a leaf of it before bedtime and breathe that in. Because so much of our processing and the messages from deep inside us comes through in the dreaming when we can't find time during the day to engage that part of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my recommendation. Mugwort all the way.
All the way. My recommendations is, well, the shadow work tea. That one will help you, especially in meditations and rituals related to your shadow, and getting yourself engaged to, feel what needs to be felt and process what needs to be felt. But then I also like clear the path for this time of year, or really any kind of retro, because it helps clear out the gunk. That's the purpose of the tea. The tea is meant to clear the path so that you can either manifest or you can realize or resolve, that sort of thing. And yeah, mugwort too. I think it's great that we're both thinking the same thing.
Yes, me too.
So, so just to recap everything, we're about at our time. Take your time during this retrograde and in the shadow while we're still in the shadow. Take your time. Take your time to reflect. Take your time to look at your goals. Start planning if you haven't already. Journal, absolutely journaling, doing personal rituals, pulling in that tide, pulling yourself away from all the things that you have all these tentacles out and you're just sending your energy everywhere. Pull some of that back in and reserve it for yourself. Keep it for yourself and use that energy to really get yourself in a you just saw Benny, didn't you?
It's a dog.
It's a dog.
Our dog walked past. It had a human with it, but
the human gets overlooked, but we love Benny. Benny and Victory. So find joy too. I always want to put that out there because I know that's been kind of my goal for this year is find your joy. Find places where you can be joyful. And I feel like that really replenishes ourselves. We just had the witch walk this weekend. That was fun. And and of course there's the fairy festival down in Maryland. Now they moved it to Maryland. I mean, just looking at the pictures brought me joy because of all the memories from the fairy festival and all the things we used to do, doing the craft castle and the cubiandos and the bubbles and the maypole, everything. Even just finding joy in the memories is a great thing to do for ourselves right now. And if you'd like to join us in our private community and in our classes, we do have options. We'll put the links so you can find them because we do have a Rebel Mystic community and we do have a bundle. It's not officially launched until July because we're working on it. We're trying to get everything planned and we want to do a whole bunch of cool stuff with you guys. So from a subscription box that gives you unique items that we hand pick for the ritual and the purpose that we decide, to Q&A sessions, so your questions can be personally answered by all of us or one of us or two of us, however it turns out and what the topic is. But I lost my train of thought. Anything else you want to add?
I'm just thinking of, we came together, the three of us, with this real desire to create a sacred community where the magical life isn't sequestered away somewhere, but actually becomes a way of life. Yes. And we've done that in so many iterations now. We have a coven together, and we did the Caribbean's Grove Collective, and we have this shop called Symmetry, and the Rebel Mystic community is the next iteration of that same dream, which is to create safety for you to know how magical your life can be, and so that we can support you and really claiming that for yourself so that the world can echo that out. And the whole world becomes a more magical place for all of us.
All of us. Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be in-depth rituals or things like that. It's things you do in your daily life that you don't even realize sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's practical and simple, but
Yes.
it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the little reminders. So you just talked about the little rituals. We just talked about this last week, right?
Yeah.
You know, Stacy was asking us, like, how do I deepen my practice? Like, I need to do more. But I'm like, wait, you're
As
already
I'm, like, talking about all the things.
But she already does.
But she's already doing enough. But I think all of us, we
It becomes
forget.
mundane.
It does. It does. It becomes mundane.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping it magical and reminding ourselves how magical and how unique, unusual we are. I think that's a catalyst that we can live by, where we create something for ourselves that is not, it's not boring.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And when you have a community of people who are living out of their heart to tell you the truth, the shadow and the ego cannot sway you as easily, because you have an anchor of community.
Yes.
And we have really found that together.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what our goal has been, is to bring that to you guys so that you can join with us. And we decided to do this virtually because that's the culture now.
Yes.
That's what we're used to now. It's easy. You can be sitting at your desk right now at work with earbuds in, working away, listening to us. You don't have to see us necessarily. But it's, you know, you could be doing the dishes right now. A mundane task that you can make magical by listening, or, you know, envisioning the bubbles being magical and cleansing away the meal, or the maybe you're a kitchen witch and you created a meal to banish sickness. So the bubbles are that final stage where you're cleansing away the sickness and letting it go down the drain and making your family and yourself healthy. So little things. Remember, it's the little things.
Yes.
So I think that's about it.
That's it.
We actually have to open our shop. So if you guys are coming down today, we are open till 4, 11 to 4. And
15 North Beaver Street.
yeah, thank you. That's where we're at.
Yes.
Central Market's open. All of the
Yes.
shops on Beaver Street are open. Come check us out.
Yeah, come have lunch. Come sit and chat with us, and just
Have some tea.
have some tea. Enjoy the day, even though it's a little cloudy. And enjoy the day. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.